It was a brush-choked, impassable gash dividing our community. Scottsdale's future was literally being swamped in the 1960s by the Slough, a marshy low point that carried rain runoff from the valley's northern mountains to the Salt River Basin in Tempe. The Slough was a good hunting spot, but not much good for anything else. It was an unbuildable no man's land, and the Army Corps of Engineers had a plan to fix it. A 150-foot wide concrete ditch extending 7 miles through the heart of Scottsdale. Drawings depicted a sterile and intimidating solution, similar to the cement banks of the LA River, a landscape made famous by a chase scene from the Terminator movie. Bill Walton was fresh out of Iowa State University at the time, with a wife, 4 kids, and a new job as a landscape architect for a Scottsdale firm. To save money, Walton rode his bike to work, crossing the often muddy Slough. During those trips, he'd notice how the dirt and gravel in the channel could be pushed around by floodwaters, but grass on the nearby Villa Monterey golf course remained intact.
As a landscape architect, I started investigating the kind of soil and or the grass as such. Well, back in Illinois, where I came from, Bermuda grass, you'd dig it up and throw it away. Out here, it has a great root system, and like I said, after 3 or 4 days, why, you'd have a little powder of dirt, but it'd be dry, and you got no erosions. So I thought, you know, you could put grass in this thing and make it work. So that's really how I got into the thing.
Walton wrote a column for the Scottsdale Progress newspaper proposing an alternative to the Terminator-esque concrete ditch. It was published in February 1964.
In May of 1963, Scottsdale had 1 swimming pool, and that was their park. And so with that, all that open space, I just felt that, you know, that this would be a great place to have something like Central Park. And that's kind of where I was coming from. So I thought, well, boy, to have a 7.5 mile long park through the middle of the city, that'd be kind of neat.
At 10 p.m. the night after his column appeared, Walton was startled to hear a knock at his door.
And it was 2 members of the council, and they asked me if I would chair a committee to see if this was feasible, which I did.
It may have been the most influential cold call in Scottsdale history. It launched Walton on a 40-year career in public service. It jump-started the influential planning process dubbed the Scottsdale Town Enrichment Program. And perhaps most importantly, it laid the groundwork for the Indian Bend Wash Greenbelt, a project that would change the face of Scottsdale and revolutionize flood control. The vision may have been simple, but turning the idea into reality was a marathon struggle that battled federal bureaucracy, voter suspicion and apathy, and the strapped finances of an infant community.
Scottsdale in the 1950s and 60s didn't have a lot of money. They had no tax base that was really worthwhile.
What Scottsdale lacked in cash, it made up for with tenacity, imagination, and that rarest of political commodities, a shared community vision.
Once you get, you know, the people involved, and once you get a council that has that political will, you can do a lot of good things. If you want to do something and the council's got the will, you'll get it done. It's as simple as that.
Land for the future El Dorado Park was acquired. The city adopted a density transfer policy, where property owners who donated land for the Greenbelt could place that lost development onto parcels they owned outside the wash. As the project moved forward, Walton remembers the Army Corps of Engineers and other agencies asking tough questions and demanding adherence to seemingly impossible standards.
When everybody decided this is the way we're going to go, Corps of Engineers then started throwing out all the rules. You couldn't put up a fence unless it broke away at the bottom, so if anything came through as such. You couldn't plant trees here or there, you know, all those kind of things.
The city hired additional planners to develop new concepts and meet the rules. Opposition formed. Maintaining the Greenbelt was too ambitious and expensive. Several bond proposals failed. Years passed with only incremental progress.
Well, we got a little help from Mother Nature.
In 1972, record rain swelled the wash and flooded several neighborhoods.
The council, in their wisdom, decided to have another vote, another bond issue vote. And because of that flood, the bond issue passed 7-1. So we had our money.
The Corps of Engineers in Maricopa County came around to support the Greenbelt plan. The pieces, land acquisition, ordinances, park development, slowly came together. When the golf course that would eventually be known as Silverado opened in 1999, the Greenbelt was complete. Today, more than 63,000 people live within walking distance of the Indian Bend Wash and its parks, golf courses, lakes, and recreation paths. The wash and the innovative methods used to create it have been honored and copied across the globe. In 1974, the project was named one of the nation's top engineering feats. In 1981, the wash was the subject of a multimedia exhibit at the 11th International Congress on Irrigation and Drainage in Grenoble, France. The project was also honored with a medallion award from the state chapter of the American Society of Landscape Architects. The Greenbelt joined an impressive group of landmarks singled out for the award, including Grand Canyon National Park and the Arizona Sonoran Desert Museum. Walton, whose newspaper column helped launch the Greenbelt project, would eventually become the city's planning director. He would also serve 2 terms on the city council, as well as stints on the planning, airport, and parks and recreation commissions. He's still active with efforts to revitalize the McDowell corridor and enhance Scottsdale tourism. And he's never lost this passion for what he believes built the Greenbelt and still makes Scottsdale special.
Everybody's got to be involved and everybody's got to understand. That's what I said about earlier, planning for every person. That good idea is going to be broken down, it's going to be put together in different ways, and time's going to go along as you're doing it. But eventually, if you hang in there, you can do it. Yeah. We proved that as a city, so that's good.
Walton also spends time on the Greenbelt, enjoying the fruits of his labor. He plays golf and goes for walks along its many paths. He understands more than most what it took to create this Scottsdale jewel.
As I'd said before, I'm proud as can be to be called the father of the Greenbelt, or Indian Bend Wash, but there were a tremendous amount of people that made that happen. It wasn't just me as such, and that was a real proud moment, and I think about that quite a bit anymore. The older you get, the shorter you're going to live, so you got to start thinking through on some things. But the fact that I'm here since 1963, I feel that I'm native. Scottsdale's my home. I got involved in the process of the politics of the community and who the people were that would work hard at and get it done, and I made great friends, and they're still friends today. So that's why Scottsdale is important to me. I became a part of it in that respect, and I think I did some things that were good, and I enjoyed doing it.